got a nice avocado tree here, belongs to the homeowner, and they would like this tree out in front. So we're going to go ahead and prep a hole for it and try to break through our hard pan. We've got some hard soil underneath we want to break through. We're going to fertilize and mix in some planting mulch to create more ideal conditions for the plant and go ahead and install it. We may not be able to get it out of this container without breaking the container, so the plant's more valuable than the pot. I think we're going to sacrifice the container in order to get the tree out without damaging its root system. All right, the usual practice is to dig the hole the depth of the container and 2 or 3 times as wide to prevent the plant root crown from sinking into the planted hole. In this case, we're down to a very tough material, a D&G. You can see there's about 6 inches of topsoil. You can see right here the line between our topsoil and our subsoil. This isn't a highly fertile site. We're going to do a lot of amending to improve the soil conditions so the tree can grow well. Our subsoil is very tough stuff. We're into granite. So we want to break this up so we don't have a hard pan effect for the tree's root system to establish. So we're just prepping the hole. We're going to mix in some higher quality soil in with this. We're going to use some planter's mix to amend and improve absorption and water retention capacity. And so we're just trying to make a good home for this tropical tree. The parent material on these dry, high elevation hillsides is not good. The fertility is rather low. We've got decomposed granite. The topsoil layer that we have here was probably brought in when the house was constructed as part of the landscaping. We've brought in a little bit better soil from another site to sweeten up our mix here. So we're just using available materials, local materials, to sweeten up our site conditions. We've broken up our hard pan down to about 18 inches deep. So we're going to now continue to prep. We're going to compact the soil before we put the tree in. We're going to carefully measure so that we're at grade. We want the root crown to be at original grade, and we'll build a little bit of a berm, a swale around it as a water catchment for rainfall and irrigation. Okay, we want to drive the air out. We don't want the tree to settle after it's planted and irrigated. We don't want the root crown to settle into the ground. We want her to be sustained at grade. We think we're pretty close now, so we're going to bring our tree in and get ready for the moment of truth. I think that's the safest way for us, is to break the bottom off the pot. The tree far outweighs the value of the pot in this case. A plastic container, I think we would dare to squeeze it and loosen it up and pull it out. But in this case, the likelihood of it falling apart is pretty high. Oh yeah, see, look, as we suspected, the root ball is very, very delicate. We're going to backfill with our amended material. We like to use the back end of the shovel to do a little compacting in layers as we raise up our soil level. It should be checked in a couple of days for settling of the soil around the root ball and to make sure that we get our tree established right at grade and ready to go. We never compact the top of the root ball. We never step on top of the root ball itself. We don't want to damage or compress those roots. We're just going around the edge of the root ball, outside the root zone, and compacting and driving the air out so the tree can anchor well and be stable in the ground. It's not very big. It's only maybe 4 feet high, but a nice start, a good way to start them. We feel this tree is going to make it. We're going to use a little bit of our surplus soil to build a berm or a swale around the low side of the tree. We're on a little bit of a slope, a gentle slope here. So when we do get our pulses of water, sometimes they come down 3, 4, 5 inches, even 10 inches in 24 hours has been recorded in this region. So we want to take advantage of those deep soaking pulses that do occasionally occur. Even a 2-inch rainfall can result in a lot of runoff, where if we have a good berm and a swale to catch that water, we can send down a deep pulse of irrigation to the tree. A swale is usually on a slope where we have significant angle of fall to one direction or another. And we build our berm just on the low side, so it doesn't exclude water from above the tree, but captures any water that runs by the tree. The berm is generally used on a tree that's on flat ground, where We're creating an impoundment on level ground. We want to hold water there long enough to soak in without running off. We're trying to create an impoundment so one deep pulse of water can be applied without wasting water, without runoff water escaping the site. We're going to make a nice little support tie here just to guide and direct this trunk. We'd like this to be in good balance. Just a small little tug here to hold this is probably all that we need. Many trees are damaged by staking, so we want to just give it enough support to get her started properly. Hopefully that will be all that the tree requires. In general, a year to a year and a half is often enough, and if a tree is good and safe and solid in the ground with no staking, that I believe is preferred, because then that flexure, that compression and elongation of the cells as the branch, as the stem moves, causes the deposition of tissue that expands that trunk girth, that builds that trunk taper. And so this is what we're aiming for. We want strong development, good trunk taper, good anchorage. We want to leave it compact and complex, lots of laterals so the tree has good stimulus low on the trunk to lay down new tissue. We want to really expand the tree's girth and get it well anchored. Once that happens and we feel the tree is strong in the ground, then we can start making selective cuts and training and raising the tree up to fit within its urban setting. First, we want the tree to take and survive.